This is Dr. Devon Young, and I'm here today to talk to those of us who are of a certain age, and yes, I'm talking about you, but typically it's for people that are about 37 and a half and up. Dating is almost a nightmare. If you're a guy and you've been married before, you really are kind of like not feeling getting back in the game too much, because last time you were married, what happened? You ended up paying child support, you ended up paying alimony, and for those of you ladies out there, what happened to you? Well, your credit flew south, and probably a few other things flew south, including your hope in finding a good, decent man. Well, I'm here to tell you, dating after 37 years old, which is really, that's kind of like the new 45, but bottom line is dating in this season of your life can be somewhat awkward and very disheartening unless you have the right attitude. Now, what constitutes having the right attitude? You can't feel like all the good folks are taken. Second thing you can't do is lock yourself down expecting for someone to come and find you. Nobody's going to come find you. There's not going to be this miraculous knock at your door and Cupid's arrow is going to shoot the right person dead in the behind and make them notice you. Sorry, it does not work like that. In order to move past all of this apprehension, all of these things that are haunting you from the past, you know, the divorce, the stuff going through junk with baby daddy, baby mama drama, hoping that now you have finally acquired a few assets and a decent credit score, someone won't come and debunk it. All of those things can happen, and I'm not going to lie to you and say that they don't, but there are some steps that you can take in dating in this season of life that will help you to enhance your chances of finding somebody that's really worth your time and getting rid of people that aren't. So let's get straight into that conversation. One of the first things that I want to tell you about that is you must be prepared to take risk. You cannot get a reward without taking a risk. Let's face it, if you buy a lottery ticket, you have a chance of winning. But if you don't buy the damn ticket, what can you win? And the same is true for dating. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. Now, the question is, how do you put yourself out there? And I'm going to answer that right now. Number one, don't start dating while you're still hurting. That is not a good thing. As a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster, especially for you ladies. If you know for a fact that you have not let go of the anger, the shame or guilt from either having something that you've invested 2 children and several 100,000 hours of your life into fail for you, don't start out bringing that baggage to the table, because let's face it, how can someone really see you when they're looking at you through a film of green dark smoke like you're in a damn horror movie? And fellas, the same thing is true for you. You cannot think that just because that last woman you dated took you to the cleaners, the next one will. Nor can you have these expectations for someone to come in, start cleaning up your damn house, washing your clothes and doing all the other little wifely duties when that's not your damn wife. All right, with that stated, let's get to the practical do's and don'ts here. First thing, be that which you seek. What good is it for you to find someone that is absolutely perfect for you and you and this person don't have a damn thing in common when it comes to common sense, spirituality, when it comes to credit scores, when it comes to your views on sex, on extended family? You know, how far do you let your friends know your private life? How much do you involve your family? And you better have boundaries, especially if you have children. As a matter of fact, you know, one of the biggest things that cause relationships to fail is you putting other people in your damn business. That's right. Use your head. Dating is a private thing that's between you, your life experience, the things that you're hoping for, and the person that you just met. Putting other people in your business, especially those of us that are going through this, what I call gilded age, we tend to need someone to be there, kind of like a first or second grader wanting another little child to accompany them to the bathroom. You got to go through this dating thing on your own, and you need to do it having some objectives. And here's what I mean by that. If you're going to date with a purpose. And here's what that purpose should be. I just want to get to know other people while exploring my preferences. In other words, don't meet someone and automatically that's your next husband or your next wife. That means your ass is probably crazy. The truth is, you just want to meet people have intelligent conversations, and look at areas where you really find out who you are not and what it is that you really want in someone. You may find out that you're permeable or receptive to some things that you probably had written off, or you might find out that the problem in the last 6 people you went out with wasn't them, it was you. So going into this dating with a purpose, the first purpose, like I said, should be, I just want to have fun, have some intelligent conversations, and get to know you. The second thing is, don't come to the table talking about what you're not going to do, especially, and this one is for the women. You women want to say, I am looking for a serious relationship. You might as well tell a man, run, because that's exactly what his ass is going to do when you come to him with that bull crap. You don't even know this guy. You haven't seen him, how he acts when he's broke. How does he act when he's angry? How does he act when he's sad? And you want to tell him that you're only looking for commitment. Be careful what you ask for, because that stalker in a dude is just what you might get. And the same holds true for you fellas. Look beyond the curves and the lips and the hair. It might not even be her hair, and it may not even be her curves. Inasmuch, the things that you're looking for in a woman need to be deeper than that. Have conversations and ask about things that seem to be politically incorrect. Like, what are your views on spending money? Do you expect me to pay all the bills? Do you expect me to take care of you? Are you willing to split debt? Are you willing sometimes to pick up the tab when we go out? These things seem so little, but once you get into dating and sex, because you know, once the bedroom gets involved, once time gets involved, you have 2 biases. One, prior commitment, and the other one, your little horny self wants to let that do your thinking instead of this, and that's for men and women. Here's that third level. Where are your values? What really matters to you in terms of spirituality, social? And people say don't talk about politics, but let's face it, at some point all of us have a political position, and you might want to find out if the person that you're with has an equal understanding and an equal perception of the same things, because, you know, even in personality type, there is a variance between how someone with a sensing attribute, that's somebody that see, feel, taste, hear, smell, you know, that person has a different attribute in perceiving than that intuition, that intuiting personality, which I got a concept in my head, but I'm going to see it, do it, and think it and feel it my way. So you have to ask yourself, are we on board, and do we perceive things the same way? Now, here's this fourth thing, and again, it kind of falls into personality type. How do you make decisions? You would think that's not a big deal. The hell it's not. It is a big deal. Some of us are very logical. We're very critical. We like for things to pass a system of litmus tests or a system of checks and balances, where other people, they make decisions based on how they feel. Is this good for everybody? Do I feel like you're treating me the way I'm treating you? Is this something where I see compassion, or do I feel that you're being a bit cold? Yes, that thinking personality versus that feeling personality, but you need to ask these questions. Making this simple, I suggest you take the MBTI Form Q, which if you contact my office at 877-508-2025, 877-508-2025, you can take that personality test. It'll cost you probably, if you just want to take that particular test, probably about $58 plus tax, and to have it interpreted. Now that costs a little money, a couple $100, but it will stop you from getting onboarded with something where you're looking up and seeing that it's a waste of your time again, because let's face it, what is the one thing you will not get back in life? That's time. You can maybe get a second chance at something. You can probably create another opportunity for something, but you will never be able to recreate time, especially time that's lost. Here's the next and almost most critical element of this conversation. Dating, when you are at this season of your life, typically affects more than just you. And for that very reason, you don't need to involve other people in your considerations until you have dated someone for at least 6 months to maybe a year. And for some of you, depending on your asset structure, how many children you have, if these children are in high school age or even little kids, you know, between 5 and 10 years old, If that is a system that's connected to you, you really should be cautious about involving other people in what you're doing. And I'm talking about even in a conversation. Now, what I'm not saying is this: if the person you're dating wants to isolate you and keep you from your friends and family, that's probably a nut. So you want to stay away from people like that. But you on your own should keep a brief distance. And ladies, I get it. You don't know if this guy is a serial killer or some rapist, but hopefully he's not. And same thing for women. I do this show called Fatal Attraction and Snapped, and it's just as many crazy women out there as there are men. So we need to have some type of homework that we do on people. And here's the simplest way to do it without you turning into looking like a damn stalker or somebody who's lost their mind. Make sure the data that you find on their LinkedIn page correlates Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. That is a real simple approach to getting clarity about personality type. Another thing to look for is look at the associations, both professional and social, that a person participates in or has membership to. That tells you a lot, because a lot of those organizations vet people. Here's a good example. I'm in 100 Black Men. I'm also in Kappa Alpha Psi. It is very simple for someone to pick up a phone and find someone that probably would know me in another city and say, oh yeah, well, I know that brother, I've had dealings with him, what have you. Another thing that you look at is what is going on with the person in terms of their value system. And you can find this out simply by just looking at how do they correct relationships. Typically, at this season of life for men, whether we've made mistakes with our children, God knows I have, or we've done everything perfect with our children, which very few of you have, are you witnessing someone that is correcting those mistakes? If you see that, okay, maybe the guy had a divorce, he broke up, but now he's trying to reconnect with those kids, those estranged kids, or those estranged relationships. And guys, look at women. If you see that you've been dating a woman and now all of her friends are dressing like they're 20 years younger than they actually are, that's a sign something's a little cuckoo and amiss up here. Or if you deal with a man or a woman who is still trying to go to the club every week, trying to run the street every week, God forbid they're still smoking pot or, you know, turning up. For those of you that don't know what that means that your ass is getting lit, right? If you're dealing with people like that, that's a sign that this person is probably experiencing some midlife crisis where they're trying to reestablish who they are. Run. It's not for you. Now, the last part of this thing, I know I said that a minute ago, but this is truly the last part of it, is here's how you spot good people. Good people actually like sex, and they will talk about it, but not too damn much. Good people have a respect for family, and they have an appreciation for friends. But if you see them overcommitted to family, like enabling grown-ass children by steady giving them money when they should be earning their own money, or that they need to have a committee co-sign whatever they do, meaning a group of guys, group of girlfriends, that's a sign that person's pretty immature. But if they have what I consider to be reasonable access and have boundaries set where people know, you know what, I need my me time. No, I don't need to go out with all 5 of y'all again, because 3 out of these 5 people are cuckoo. So you don't want people that do that, but you do want people that do show healthy boundaries. And then here's the biggest one: someone that is trying to correct what is wrong with their lives. It is very important that when you look at this season of life, you are cleaning up what you didn't get right in the last season, and you're perfecting that which you did. So it is nothing wrong if you meet a man or a woman that's back in school at 37, 45, 55. That's a sign of maturity. It's a sign that someone actually can look at themselves and say, you know, I was part of my own problem. I'm going to own it and be part of my own solution. And the biggest one is, how do they take care of this temple? You know, everybody doesn't have to be Hercules and have big muscles, and not all women are going to have a flat tummy and all these curves. But if you see somebody that is a deliberate and intentional work in progress, meaning that they are watching what they eat, They're taking care of their health, they're exercising, and they are taking the time to really improve the presentation. That is a big winner. But here's the last thing, and I do mean seriously this time the last thing. How can they love you when they don't truly love themselves? Anyway, this is Dr. D. Yvonne Young. Visit us at drdYvonneyoung.org.com. Matter of fact, remember, Yvonne is spelled like I-V-A-N, so it's drdYvonneyoung.com.org, or if you get us on social media, just go for Dr. D. Yvonne Young, and you will find us across all the platforms, from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're there. Anyway, see you soon.